This episode of The Therapy Show is sponsored by Therapy Notes. Why not find out what more than 100,000 mental health professionals already know and try Therapy Notes for 2 months absolutely free? Just click on the link in the show notes or enter promo code LISA at therapynotes.com. Welcome to the Therapy Show podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Mustard. In each episode, I interview a seasoned and knowledgeable talk therapist from the counseling world to glean valuable insights, techniques, and tools that you can apply to your practice and your life. And if you're considering a career in the counseling field or just want to hear about what it's like to be a talk therapist, then this is the podcast for you. Social media is here to stay, whether we like it or not. And if you're wanting to build an online business, then you got to get on social media. You got to get in the game or you will get left behind. But you can do it in a smart way without stressing yourself out or spending too much time on the platforms. Over the years, I have had a love-hate relationship with social media. However, it really truly has helped me grow my podcast and sell my products and services. So, in this episode, I'm going to share my tips for building your brand on social media without spending your life on it. So, what are some tips and advice for building your brand on social media? I'm going to give you my top 6 tips that I have used, wash, rinse, repeat over and over again, probably since I don't even know how long I've been on social media. At least 10 years. So, these are the tips that I always go back to when I have a new idea or I want to refresh my social media. Let's just dive into it. Okay. So, it takes time and effort and a strategic approach to build a strong brand. Though these 6 tips are going to help you do just that. So the number one, is define your brand. So before you start building your brand on social media, you need to define what your brand stands for. What are your values, your mission, and your unique selling proposition? And your brand identity should be as close to consistent across all social media platforms. When I got started with building my brand on social media, I primarily focused on Facebook because that's where most of my audience was hanging out. And to this day, I believe that's pretty much where they're still hanging out. So I began sharing my work, health and fitness things, as well as things that I was learning from personal growth and development work. Here's a side note though. Early on, I personally made the decision not to share our kids on social media, and that's my personal preference tip. It's up to you if you want to bring your kids onto your social media accounts. So, back to what I was saying. If you are, family focused and that's your thing, and you want to, if that's one of your values, part of your brand, then if you want to show your family, then go for it. It's up to you if you want to do that or not. Also, in terms of defining your brand, I was committed to showing up on social media with my values in alignment with my content. I even had a tagline, and I can't remember the original tagline, but it was something like, I help women feel amazing in their skin, rock their self confidence, and show them how to create a life they don't need a vacation from. And in some ways, this mission still stands, but the intention behind it is now a little different because my target audience has changed. And because of what I was sharing back then and now, I would start to get messages from women and they would ask questions about workouts, nutrition, personal growth, ask me if I was taking on new clients, which was great because that was what I was after. So I was defining my brand, defining my values, and I was creating content around my brand. So let's get kind of clear on this, like what that brand statement can be. So you can think of it like this: I help blank do blank and show them how to blank so they can blank. So fill in your blanks and get started. So let me say that again: I help blank do blank and show them how to blank so they can blank. So you're telling them the problems that you solve as well as how you do it. You're not giving away everything, but you're giving them just enough that they are going to get curious and want to keep following you. Okay, that's how I think about it. So the second tip is to know your audience. Understanding your audience is key to building a successful brand on social media. So who are your target customers? What are their needs, preferences, and pain points? So this is kind of like going back to knowing your brand, because you're knowing your audience and knowing your brand, that's really how you're going to create the social media content that is going to call them out, that's going to help them find you. So understand the pain points and what they need and the problems that they have and how you can then solve them is going to be your brand. And it's also going to be your social media content. All right. So tip number 3, now that you've got those things kind of like you're wrapping your brain around that, number 3 is create quality content. So the content you share on social media should be as high quality as it can be, engaging and relevant to your audience. You can use a mix of text and images and videos and lives and all those things to keep your audience interested, and try to be as consistent in your content posting schedule as you can. Tip number 4 is you want to engage with your audience, because social media is a two-way communication channel. So make sure you engage with your audience. You're going to respond to comments, answer questions, and show appreciation for feedback. This is going to help build trust and loyalty with those who follow you. I promise it works. In fact, one of the things that I would say I kind of, over the years was really focused on was anytime I received a comment or feedback, I would thank that person for their feedback, and I would show them appreciation. Even if I didn't agree with it, I would always say, "Hey, thanks for your feedback," because I want people to know that I'm watching, I'm paying attention, I'm engaged with my audience. Okay, number 5, if you are ready, you can use paid advertising, because that's going to help you reach a larger audience and drive more traffic to whatever it is you're doing. I hope that would be to your website, because your website is probably where you're going to host any type of offer or service that you provide. So you are going to use paid advertising to promote your content, products, and services to your target audience. Now, I am not an ads specialist. I have used ads in the past, and have really grown my email list. And I mean, I know I've done podcast episodes on growing your email list. So go back and listen to the one with Liz Wilcox, where she talks about how to really use email marketing, because honestly, what it comes down to is social media is a place where you can grow interest and excitement over it is what you're doing, but it's rented or borrowed property or ground. It can go away at any time. We own our brand, but we don't own we don't own our Facebook feed, right? It can go away anytime. If we do something that upsets them, or we get blocked, or we get, it can go away in an instant. So you always are going to want to drive traffic to growing your email list or getting them back to your website. Social media is a place for you to engage with people and connect with people, but it's really, I say it's really not the place to sell things. I mean, you definitely can, and I have definitely done that. But for long-term picture thinking, you really want to get people onto your email list, or, heading to your website. So number 6 is monitor your metrics as best as you can. So look at your social media metrics to track what's going on. You can use the tools that they offer to measure engagement, reach, and conversions. And you're going to use this information to really refine your social media strategy and improve your brand's performance. So if you see that one of your posts is doing really well and people are engaging with it, well, that tells you they like it, right? So, and not that you always need to be, you're not, every post you make or every content you make isn't going to be a home run. You're going to have stuff that has crickets on it. And a lot of that has to do with the algorithm. And I wouldn't even try to there's some people out there that are going to say, figure out the algorithm. I say, screw that, just post good content and the right people are going to find you. So, but you can use these tools to see what people respond to and react to and what's working. So if you follow these 6 tips, you can definitely build a strong brand on social media and reach a wider audience. But remember that building a brand takes time, patience, and consistent effort. And a lot of y'all know the next question you're going to ask is, how do you come up with content for social media? And a lot of it goes back to what I've already said. Understand your audience, because the content you create should resonate with your target audience. Use analytics and those tools to gather insights, and this is only going to help you create better content. You can use a content calendar that helps you outline the content that you want to publish. And then also some of these apps out there can help you then publish onto social media. And if you use it correctly and use it well, This will help avoid that last minute scrambling for content ideas. And it'll also help save your time and energy, and you won't be living on the social media platforms. So keep an eye also on like what's trending, what current events, holidays, and trends are in your industry. This is going to give you ideas for timely and relevant content that will capture your audience's attention. You can repurpose content. I do that all the time. So don't be afraid to repurpose things that you've created already. For example, if you write a blog, you can turn that into a social media graphic or a video. I've taken past posts and just rewritten them and added a different picture, but the message is very similar. So I do that a good bit. It's going to help you save time and help you increase your content output. So another thing you can do is you can use user generated content. So that's content that your audience creates and shares. You can ask your audience to share photos, videos, or testimonials related to your brand. This can help increase engagement and create a sense of community around your brand. Try Therapy Notes, the #1 rated electronic health record system available today. With live telephone support 7 days a week, it's clear why Therapy Notes is rated 4.9 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot.com and Google. Therapy Notes makes billing, scheduling, note taking, and telehealth incredibly easy. And now, for all you prescribers out there, Therapy Notes is proudly introducing ePrescribe. And if you're coming from another electronic health record, Therapy Notes makes the transition quite simple, importing your demographic data free of charge so you can get going right away. So why not find out what more than 100,000 mental health professionals already know and try Therapy Notes for 2 months absolutely free. Just click on the link in the show notes or enter the promo code Lisa at therapynotes.com. Try it today with no strings attached and see why everyone is switching to Therapy Notes. Also, don't be afraid to try out different formats, such as infographics, videos, or even live streams, because experimenting with different formats can help you find out what resonates with your audience and what doesn't. So over COVID, I did a lot of workout videos because we couldn't really go to the gym. We couldn't really leave our house. And I wasn't going to let my health and wellness slide or use COVID as an excuse not to keep my fitness and health up. So I would do these workouts in my backyard. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to share these on my Facebook wall because I know a lot of women out there maybe aren't, they can't go to the gym or they don't have an idea of what workout would be good for them. So I just started sharing what I was doing and I would show my workouts and I would write out what I was doing. And I know that I got a lot of views when I would talk about wellness, I talk about fitness, nutrition, all that stuff. So don't be afraid to try new things. Like, try things and see what works. And like I said, not everything is going to be, go out gangbusters, but at least you gave it a try. And that's what marketing is. You have to test and retest things over and over again. All right. So let's talk a little bit about burnout on social media because that was me or still is me. And really, that's why I love podcasting so much is because I can create my content and put it out there in audio form and building my brand and then having people subscribe, asking them to subscribe to the show. And of course, hopefully you guys think this content is good, brings people back over and over to the podcast. And I love podcasting. I think it is such a great marketing arm for whatever it is that you're doing, that if you are tired of social media but yet you want to create content and you want to help people, podcasting is an awesome way to go. So I just want to put that out there if you're thinking about it. And I'm seeing a lot of therapists now start podcasts, and it's really cool to see that shift happening. I love it. I love what you guys are doing. But if you are burnt out like me, here are some strategies that you can continue to use to build your brand. So first and foremost, take a break. If you're feeling overwhelmed, just take a break from social media. Take a few days or even a week off to recharge and refocus. And use this time to reflect on your brand and your social media strategy. It's funny, the more time I spend away from social media, the better my content is or gets, I find. I think part of the problem with Facebook, and I'll just use Facebook as the example, is it's like there's so many distractions on Facebook and there's so many people on there who are trying to build their brand as well. And a lot of the content that they share is very divisive and very polarizing. And it's very much a burnout factor for me. So I just tend to unfollow people. I'm like, okay, I'm unfollowing. I don't unfriend them, but I unfollow because I want to curate my feed to inspire me and to uplift me. I mean, I know what's going on in the world. Like I'm very aware. And so when I get on social media, I just don't want to see that kind of stuff. And that's where my burnout happens. But also being on social media too much, my creativity gets completely zapped. My ideas go into the tanker. So I have to take time away just to refresh and reboot for my own creativity's sake. And that means I also had to reevaluate my strategy. Um, it wasn't, I kind of have, moved away a little bit from what I was doing prior to with the podcast. Before I started like really promoting the podcast and promoting the courses and the pod courses. And one of the things that I realized was that when I refocused on, those things, I had to change my strategy. And so I had to take some time away to figure out how was I going to identify areas where I could improve my social media presence or not get sucked into the rabbit hole of the Facebook doom of scrolling, that kind of thing. So I'm always like looking at, okay, how do I show up congruently and authentically and in alignment with what I'm trying to do and not get and put blinders on, excuse me guys, and just go out and create content and put good stuff out there in the world. And the people who need me or want to be with me will find me and join me. I hope that makes sense. I really do have burnout when it comes to social media. That's why I say I have a love-hate relationship with it, because it works when it works. But when it burns me out, it just burns me out. So another tip is you can outsource or delegate, consider outsourcing or delegating some of your social media tasks to maybe hire a VA, social media manager, even hire someone to do the day-to-day tasks such as content creation and scheduling. I know a lot of my podcasting friends hire VAs to run their Facebook groups or post a lot of the content in their Facebook groups. In fact, I said for many, many months I wasn't going to start another Facebook group, but I went ahead and started a free Facebook group because I want to also offer a membership, a group coaching membership to my other audience, which is midlife mamas. I'm calling them my midlife mamas. So I've been thinking long and hard about, okay, well, what is that going to look like and how much energy and time is that going to take? And once it starts to kind of take up more energy and time, I'm definitely going to be hiring someone to help me with that process. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about it now. Before it used to drain me, it used to be really hard for me to think it through. But I'm kind of at a point with what I'm doing that I'm busy and I'm doing other things. And I do need someone to help me probably in the near future with some of the content creation, maybe like the graphics and things, as well as, posting in the Facebook group and helping me out in there. Okay, so that's just a long-winded way of saying it's okay to outsource or delegate if you are feeling burnt out. I already mentioned like automating your social media. Like I said, there's apps out there, tools that you can schedule your posts in advance and analyze your performance. There's things out there. I don't know all of them and I don't have a recommendation, but if you are looking to use one, go for it. And another thing too, like I said earlier, you can also focus on other marketing channels. And that's what when I started to feel burnout, that's what I did. Like the podcast and email marketing and content marketing, or, guesting on other podcasts, because that's going to help you reach a wider audience and reduce your reliance on social media. Okay. And get creative. If you're burnt out, find ways to make it fun again and more engaging. I love live videos. I prefer to do a live video over an Instagram reel, mainly because a live video is I can just hit go live and start talking, or Instagram reel, I got to sit on my phone. I got to find this. I got to splice this. I got to find the music. Like it just takes up too much energy for me. And I don't want to be sitting staring at my phone when my kids are home or when I'm with them. Like I don't, and I also, I don't want to always be on my phone. I want to be able to put it away when I'm at volleyball practice and I want to watch my daughter practice. Well, I want to talk to other volleyball moms. I mean, really, all I do right now is volleyball. So that's kind of my example. Yes, there are definitely times when I am on my phone, but I try to schedule that into my day where when my kids are around, I'm not on it. And it's really hard. It's really hard. I know. But I also want to be a good role model for them. So I'm very mindful of how much time I'm spending on my phone. So all that to say, just get creative, go live if you've never gone live. I know it's scary, but just get over it. You can do it. I know that you have it in you. You can do it. So you guys remember, like, building a brand on social media is a long-term effort, and it's okay to take a break and adjust your strategy as needed, because by taking care of yourself and focusing on what's best for your brand, you can continue building your brand on social media without burning out. And one of the most important things about building your brand on social media is that if you are thinking that you want to pivot your skill set and do something different, maybe you've spent many years refining your marketing strategy for bringing in new clients, but you're at a point in your career where you want to do something different. Maybe you want to create a membership, you want to create a course, you want to create a podcast, and you're kind of like, okay, I don't really use social media because that's not how I've gotten my clients in the past. And like I said earlier, you really do need to think about using social media because it's here whether we like it or not. And if you don't learn to use it, you will get left behind. And I know I don't really say that to scare you, but I say it because I want to like light a little bit of a fire under you. Because if you want to pivot your skill set and do something different, social media is a great way to grow your brand and to get new eyeballs on what it is that you want to do. So, if you follow me on social media, you might see a change in some of my social media content because like I said, I want to create, or I'm going to create, I'm in the works of creating a group coaching program for midlife moms. It's called Midlife Magic for Moms. So, if you're paying attention to my social media, you'll see me showing up a little bit more with some different types of content, not just things about the podcast or things about the pod courses or things about, CE courses. And so what I did first was I created a free Facebook group. I know I said I was never going to do one ever again, but I'm doing it because I see the value in it now so I can create this group coaching program. So I'm creating this. So I want to drive traffic to this free group where, once I have enough members in there, my plan is to do lives in there, to add value, to, do like show them what the group coaching model looks like, things like that. And then from there, eventually, when I have enough content in my group coaching program, then I will open up the membership and I will offer these midlife mamas in my group, an opportunity to join my membership. So it's kind of like a funnel. Like I create the content on my Facebook wall or even Instagram, or probably those two mainly. LinkedIn is more like business to business, but maybe I'll give it a try over there. So Facebook and Instagram create the content. The call to action is going to be join my group. And then once they're in the group, nurture those relationships and nurture the connections that are growing in there and give them value. So when the group coaching program is open to purchase, it's an easy yes for them because they're already getting, my time and my energy in this group. So if they want to join a group coaching program, then it's like, okay, now it's open. Now it's time to purchase. So does that make sense? Like, I hope this is making sense. I feel like I'm kind of like talking all these different angles today, but in my mind, it's kind of coming together. So if you want to pivot and you want to, offer another source of income by doing courses, group coaching or coaching, whatever it is that you want to do, it really is important that you start thinking about creating content now, even if you're not sure what it is that you want to do quite just yet. And that was me a couple years ago. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I couldn't let my social media presence die down. I still had to keep up with my brand because I knew eventually I would figure it out. And if you guys have listened to my other episodes, you've heard about the things I've tried where I failed forward, where they weren't, things that panned out, but they taught me lessons and they showed me, my growing edges, and I grew into things so I could then be where I am today. But I never give up on posting content. So even if you're not sure what it is that you want to do, start creating content now. Define your brand, decide what you want to share on social media. What do you stand for? What are your values? What's your mission? Even if you're not sure what you're going to create, you're still calling out like-minded people by sharing who you are and what you're about. Okay. So I really hope this makes sense. If you want to, learn more about this free group I have, if you're a midlife mom and you're 35 and plus and you focus on your family, or family focus is a top value of yours, then you are welcome to come join the group, kind of see how I, put it all together. I'll put the link in the show notes if you want to join. But I know that building a social media presence or building your brand on social media seems kind of hard and difficult in the beginning, and it takes time and energy and effort, but it will pay off for you in the long run if you are wanting to pivot and to do something online or have an online product or service. So, speaking of creating a new source of income, generating new income opportunities, I am doing a live training with my good friend Gordon Brewer of the Practice of Therapy, also of the Sightcraft network of podcasters. We are doing this live training on Friday, May 11th at 5. No, let me say that again. Not May 11th. We are doing the training on Friday, May 5th at 11 a.m. That's this Friday. And the title is Diversifying Your Income Streams. And if you want to add more income in 2023, you really don't want to miss this. Come join us. The event is free, but it will be held on the Circle app, not on Facebook. So I'll go ahead and drop that link in the show notes. We'd love to have you come join us. It's totally free. Even if you can't be there this Friday at 11, go ahead and sign up, because we'll keep the replay up in the group so you'll always have access to it. Okay. Also, another thing to remind you guys is I'm co-hosting a webinar with Dr. David Hall on May 11th. That's the May 11th at 2 p.m. on the 3 secrets to your first CE event. It's easier than you think. And you can register at the website lisa.mavenwebinar.com. But even if you can't make it live, go ahead and register, because we will be sending out the replay. And one more thing to tell you guys about, if you have thought about adding holistic counseling modalities to your practice, please check out my friend, also part of the Sightcraft network, Chris McDonald, who hosts the Holistic Counseling podcast. She now has, she's had these courses, 3 trainings that are now offering continuing education contact hours. So you can learn all about her holistic counseling training series over on my website. Just head over there and click on the CE courses and you'll see Chris's offerings. I'll put the link in the show note. Right now, the courses are modestly priced, but I know that she is going to be raising the cost of those prices sometime this May. So lots to offer you guys, some really fun things coming up so you can diversify your income streams with me and Gordon Brewer. Friday, May 5th at 11. And then also with Dr. David Hall, if you have an interest in creating CEs, come on and join the 3 secrets to your first CE event. All of those links are in the show notes. I hope to see you guys there. Well, that wraps up another episode of The Therapy Show with Lisa Mustard. I know there are hundreds of thousands of podcasts out there, and I'm thankful you've chosen to listen to mine.
Be sure to visit lisamustard.com to access the show notes and discover more fantastic content.
And I'd be grateful if you subscribe to the show. Thank you.